Welcome everyone. My name is Amanda Bordelon and I'm one of the faculty here at Utah Valley University and I teach civil engineering. One of my favorite tools to teach you about today is Microsoft Excel. It is my go-to tool for almost everything I use, and from what I've heard, most engineers are about the same way. So I'd like to introduce you guys first to how the program works and where all the ribbons are and what the different features of a spreadsheet are going to be. And then on a separate video, I will go through how to graph functions within Excel and some other features. So let's get started. You can start and open a new blank sheet. When you have a new sheet available to you, the things I want to point out again, you have different items automatically that are brought up. At the very top is your standard menu of features. We have ribbons that are brought in. These are various functions that I'll go through a few of these. The important things here that I want to point out are the formula bar. So you could actually type in equations in here, and this is very helpful when you want to use this as a calculator, or if you want to use this for classes later on. It will solve problems for you. And you can also have, right next to it is a function button. If you ever need to look up what a function is, you can always click on here and it gives you options. You can search things like, oh, I really wanted to know the tangent of something, and you can say, oh, and then here's some options. Okay, and you can click through them and they give you more details below. There's always a help function here. If you need to get more information, some of the help functions even tell you the code behind it and how they work, especially complex functions, and you can go from there. Some other things I want to point out that every spreadsheet has is columns, which are all of these alphabetical things shown here, and then rows, which are shown here. If you've learned how to do matrices, it's similar to this, but it's a little different. Typically, when you do a lot of matrix calculations, we tend to use MATLAB instead, but Excel can do those as well. The things that are unique about Excel here is we can have, again, it's really nice for making tables that can go into Word documents, and it's very nice for making graphs. It has a lot of features you can change when you get a graph going. So in standard spreadsheet format, we have, again, in these columns and rows, we have wherever you click, these little boxes are considered a cell, C-E-L-L, and they have a specific location. And here in Microsoft Excel, it defines the location wherever you click based on the column first and then the row. So you have E13, for example, is the location I'm currently at. If I click in a different spot, I'm now F7, and that's shown up here. And that's very helpful later on if you ever want to program in, say, Visual Basic. That is the software programming behind the scenes of Excel. And you can take classes to learn how to write and program in Visual Basic if you'd like to. Another feature I wanted to point out today is down here at the bottom left-hand corner. Right now it says Sheet 1, and there's a plus sign. This is called a tab, just like these are tabs. This is the tab we're currently looking at, Sheet 1. I can always add more sheets. They're always blank. And that's sometimes nice. Personally, I tend to do things like have one sheet for, say, one homework problem and another sheet for a different homework problem. Or maybe I have a more complex thing that I'd like to have. It runs out of space on one sheet, I'll go on to the next sheet. When you have multiple sheets, these are called a workspace or workbook. And if you ever go to print, you can see I hit the file button to get into that menu. I can look at my entire workbook. And if I want to print, you could always print the single sheet or the active workbook. That's helpful as well. So some other features, again, I wanted to mention is we have we have columns, we have rows, these are cells. We have locations that are important. Up at the top in the ribbons, besides the general formatting, I can also look into how my numbers are typed. So if I just put in some random number, I'm going to put a bunch of numbers in. It shows the numbers in here. If I want to change the format, I can say maybe I want scientific. There's a menu up here where I can change it from what it's always by default is general, and I can go to scientific, and it will convert that for me. If someone once said, I need more decimal places, you can also go up here, and there's a little quick shortcut for adding and decreasing decimal places. And that works in the scientific realm and in the numeric realm. So I can go back and I can say maybe that was a number, and again I can add decimal places. There's other options here. You can always make it a text, which is probably not very common unless you're actually going to be putting a text. The reason I say that is if I wanted to write equations, say I want another value to be equal to this one plus 7, I'll say 7,000, or I don't even know how many numbers I just put there. 7 times 10 to the 5th. You can write it that way. Again, equations on Excel are written first as an equal sign, and then you can write it up here what you want it to do. It follows standard math order of operations. So if you have a plus sign and a multiply sign, it always does multiplications first. And then again, power, when it sees the power function, which is a caret, it knows to do that as well, just to the number in front of it. You can use parentheses if you wanted to say, maybe you wanted 7 times 10 and then to the power 5, meaning 70 to the power 5. And you could always, do things like that. The C6 here is telling me which other previous value I'm going to be looking at and updating from. Because I set currently C6 as a text, it is not going to do much because it doesn't have, it gets confused that it was a text number. If I make this back to a numerical number, that usually comes out better in the long run. Because again, this is now looking at it as a text. So I'm going to make these both a number again. You may not see the difference here. We could always say I want another one where I do this minus the previous. You can click or you can type in. Again, in Excel, it's always the letter, then the number, or the column, then the row. And it tells me what the difference was. One of the great advantages of doing Excel instead of your calculator is if you ever needed to go back and say you didn't want this long number, you typed it in wrong, maybe the decimal place was way up here, I can even fix that now and hit enter, and the entire system auto updates. If I have also, maybe I want to leave 7 as an option as well, I could say, and it's nice to label these things, so we could say original term, we could say the power value, which was, I think I had 5, and maybe I have the multiplier to the power term, and that was, I had 7, right? So I could even go in here and say I wanted that to be 7. I wanted 10 to the 5. Okay. Now the reason something like that might be useful is, again, if you ever were given a scenario where you had to change these, maybe someone went in and said I want it to be power 3 instead, again it auto updates. Maybe the multiplier was supposed to be a 9, and again it updates. You could also always insert an equation, if that's helpful to remember what you were doing. So let's say we have A plus B times 10 to the C. All right, and I can even label this as A equals B. Oops, this is C. C equals, and B equals. And I can resize by double clicking or even manually moving these around. And I could say now, I'm going to go back to my equation. Let's have this equal something. Let's have that equal a D. So I'm going to have D equals, and this is my answer. And I can just click on this where I had the equation and I can move it. All right, and I'm going to get rid of that for a moment. So something like this, I could have, again, it's auto-updating. I can even show my equation if that's helpful for myself to later remember what I was doing. That's a text box that's just kind of sitting on the surface. And yeah, so we can also do other things. I can resize the rows. I can double click on them and it auto sizes. I can click on all of the cells by clicking up in this upper left-hand corner, and I can resize everything by picking somewhere along here and just double clicking. And it resizes everything to the largest, I guess, item or text or numerical value within that column. And sometimes that's helpful. I can also wrap text. So I can even say maybe I want everything in row C or column C to be wrapped. I can go up here into the home tab and say I want to wrap it. And if you can see, it also expanded row 11 so that now I have all of that information shown. And that's helpful, again, for just presentation. And from personal experience, it's very helpful for yourself in case you need to come back into it, and to show to other people what you're doing by labeling everything you can. All right, so as I said, this is also very useful for generating tables and graphs, and I will have a different video that goes through how to generate a table and a graph fairly quickly. This has a lot of functions with it. You can play. It has every standard function within your calculator. And just remember, it always starts with an equal sign and then the function. So maybe you want to do sign, and remember, as you start typing, it auto suggests things. You can even mouse over these or hit down to see the other one. And if you don't know what they are, you can also go into the function, hit the help, or you can find the help function at the top as well. All right. I guess one other thing I'll mention too with the functions, let me go into another example. If I wanted to do something like pi, which is normally 3.14, I can even write pi, and it knows what that means. I can do, if I just hit enter, on some of these functions, it requires more information. So it might give me a warning. And in something like that, I may need to go into here and figure out what's going on. So I can write pi, hit go, and I'm going to double click on it. Okay, gives me more information. When I go into the help, it should tell me that the thing I'm missing is I need parentheses. There's a few random situations where you need to know specifically what it's asking for. This is one of those that you have to have parentheses, a first and end bracket for this to be a function. Most functions do require parentheses, so even if you're doing the sign, for example, you could have a parenthesis, and then here it tells you that you're supposed to pick a number. So let's pick 90, for example. If I hit enter, then I get a number. The question here that you can think about is, does that number, is that a degrees or is that a radians, right? And if you guys remember what sine of 90 degrees should be, hopefully you remember that that should normally be 1. So there is also a function here that you can convert. So I'm going to do something like that briefly. Let's do, this is pi, has to be written as equals pi parentheses. And this is sine of 90. But what if I said, I want, let's see, if I say 90 degrees, I want to know what this is in radians. Now you can go back to your classes and try to figure out how to calculate that, which is I take degrees, divide by 180, multiply by pi, and I get it in radians. Or I can also do equals, I can say radians is actually a function. I put in my angle in degrees, put end parentheses, hit enter, and I get the same thing, which is great. Now when I write the sine of, let's do it here, this is sine of 1.57076. If I do that, I don't have to write that whole thing again, but I will write sine, and I'm going to pick one of these, and I get 1, which is good because that is what it should be for 90 degrees. So one thing to pay attention to when you do functions, as you type them out, again, if you're unsure what it's supposed to be asking for, sometimes just by clicking on the function and reading about it, it might tell you that you needed it in radians, okay? Or again, hitting the help function, and this will give you more information. So again, you need a number and it has to be in radians, otherwise it won't calculate the right thing. So with that, I'm going to end this session and I'll start a different one for how to do graphing.